me very much. Excuse me very much. Today we're going to be talking about a hot topic that everyone's thinking about. All right, so there's two sides to this: broker fee or no broker fee. Today we're going to be talking about if you're a tenant and should you pay the fee, should you not pay the fee, the pros and the cons of both, because there are pros and cons. Obviously, with the invention of Street Easy, on the sales side, it's really good because you probably have about 95 to 90, probably 97% of the inventory. But when we're talking about the rental side, you're probably only about 50%, 60%. And the reason being is that in a really hot marketplace where we had on the rental side, you're going through literally 5 years of someone, by the time someone moves out, it gets painted, and then someone goes in, a broker or the management company, they take pictures of it, they go into the system, they upload it, they put the price, they put the description, everything else. It's already rented. So the management company has said, they're like, why am I even gonna put this online? So at that time, they just, and to be honest, Street Easy also put out a $3 per day per listing on all rentals that are going up. So you literally think about that, it's like $3 per day. Or I could just blast it out to the brokers that I know or the clients that we've done business with, and usually it rents. But these massive landlords like Rock Rose and TF Cornerstone, where they have thousands and thousands and thousands of units in doorman building, and typically they're no fee because they have on-site leasing. Those are easy because those are massive buildings. I'm talking about the buildings that are in the West Village or in Greenwich Village or in Chelsea, where they may not be on the marketplace, or there's a broker blast that comes out from the management company. So should you actually pay the fee? We'll do a landlord situation. Right now we actually just rented out. Shout out to Charles Bartolamente. He was the co-lister on it. We rented out one place, no fee, and now we just got another one. It's also a rental. It's kind of all the properties that we manage. The first one is not a property that we manage. The second one, it is. She's going to the UK. She needs a lease break, blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, I just want to save time. So on the landlord side, it makes complete sense. On the tenant side, where you're actually looking for a property, I always say, and I literally get it, probably maybe once a week. Before, it used to be like 2 or 3 times a week. The number one question is, how do I actually get out of my lease, or how do I actually just not get a price increase that the management company wants? Okay, those are questions obviously for another time. But when it comes to actually renting an apartment, let's just go over the working with a broker and working without a broker. Obviously, with a broker, there's a fee because there's time when it comes to it, and it's not in a ridiculous place where the management companies, we're starting to see it a little bit. It's known as OP, owner pays, where the owner of the management company, or not the owner of the management company, but the owner of the apartment or the management company pays the fee of the broker. So it's known as an OP. If there's no broker, then it's a free month's rent. Completely up to you what you want to do. But if you do decide to go the broker route, I highly recommend, and this is the only way to do it, is going with only one broker, okay? There's a lot of people. I actually just got a client, and he contacted me. I didn't get back in time, and then he contacted another broker, and it was a pretty healthy budget. And I said, there's loyalty, and to be honest, at this stage, I'm not going to compete with another broker. It's kind of like co-listing an apartment. It's like, I think one broker is good enough, unless it's a ridiculous, priced apartment, $50 to $100 million, and you have two, companies that go at it. So number one is convenience. This is only if you're working with a broker, okay? So the convenience of working with a broker is that you just sit back, you kind of receive some Street Easy listings, but also that broker is also looking out on their own. And this is from a broker that actually is looking out. They're dedicated to you, they're loyal to you, and they're actually looking, they get their own updates. There are it's not pocket listings, but it's more like not whisper listings, but it's things that haven't hit the marketplace because they say this is coming available. We can't put it up for rent because we can't show it yet, but we're just going to tell you in case you have a client around this time, and then 30 days before they'll list it, but the broker already knew about it. So it's the convenience of dealing with listing agents, which is always a pain in the, if you know what I'm talking about, because scheduling that in, taking time out of your work, you're also trying to schedule 5 minutes between, 10 minutes between, it's just a straight hassle. Obviously saving time searching, okay? Yes, you could put on a Street Easy alert, but when it comes down to it, a lot of people say, listen, I just don't have time to just continuously go there every single day. You know, some people like it. I get those people all the time. They're like, I think I'm going to be good at real estate because I like looking at real estate. Well, have you dealt with clients? Have you dealt with people? Have you dealt with landlords and management companies and attorneys and things like that? It's not all you know, fresh laundry and roses. So broker pros we're going to continue on is handling not only the paperwork but all the appointments and also the terms of the lease, because a lot of people say, you know, I want this move-in date but the landlord wants another move-in date. Should it be painted? Should it not be painted? If you're abutting someone else moving out, it's also a matter of getting a better rent. Okay, this is something that honestly I think this is, yes, saving time, but it's also the money aspect is really going to come into I would say like the next 2 to 3 years. It's really going to come into fruition. A lot of people said, well, my uncle, you know, has been doing real estate for 50 years, or my cousin, you know, Kimmy does real estate. And it's like, well, you kind of want to work with a professional, because the professional is willing to actually ask for what you want. A lot of people are passive. A lot of people don't want to actually say yes. A lot of people don't want to ask for a certain price. And it's funny because, you know, you're probably watching this and you're like, oh, that's not me. Well, when it comes down to it and you write an email that's very passive, the management company can sniff that out. They say yes or no all the time. They're used to rejection. They're used to saying no. They're used to people coming to them, all right? But the broker picks up the phone, and a good broker picks up the phone and says, this is what we want, these are the terms, or we're gonna move on to something else. And obviously it's a little softer, but you feel out the situation. And in sales speak, it's giving that necessary nudge, okay? Sales speak, in other words, when you're in sales, you obviously have to influence, you have to manage expectations, and you obviously have to influence, say, a decision on a management company, and you just give that necessary nudge. Moving on. Access to hidden apartments, I already talked about this. So there's broker blasts. Broker blast means that within a company they say, by the way, this is coming available before we list it. If you have any clients, we can't actually show it right now because it's not within a 45-day window or a 30-day window. So if it's available, then they have management blasts. Management blasts it's a list of apartments that are coming available and or are available. They might be listed, they may not be listed. The cons, obviously, yes, there's a huge expense. 15% of the year's rent. Sometimes you could get that down to 12% or 10%, whatever you negotiate. Honestly, for me, I've paid broker fees even as a broker. And the reason I've paid broker fees is typically the best apartments are actually reserved with a listing agent, because the management company knows that this is the management company mindset. A management company will bring on someone that's fresh out of college that's a showing agent. But a showing agent isn't really good at selling because they don't know what they're doing. They're not getting paid a lot. There's probably no commission. There's no compensation behind someone moving forward. So you're literally having this showing agent that isn't good enough as a listing agent. And I've paid broker fees. I've paid heavy broker fees. But you know what? I was happy because I amortized that across 2 years or 3 years that I stayed there. Okay, I have moved a lot, so that's not part of the situation. Working with someone you may not like. Obviously, I wrote this down because, yes, obviously you may not like the person, but you're getting into a relationship. And to be honest, I've had a lot of clients tell me a lot of things that maybe even their spouse or nobody even knows about. And the doorman knows for whatever reason. The doorman knows everything. So working with someone you may not like, and sometimes you may not know this until you're actually going around with the person. Highly recommend you. Obviously, you have the border. You have the situation of they're a professional. They're going to get you what you want, and they work hard, but you may not like them. It depends. All right. It really depends, because if they can do a good job, it's really hard. But if they are not a professional and you don't like them, just cut them out of the situation and do not sign a loyalty to that broker, because if you rent another apartment, you might need to compensate that original broker that you signed with. Bait and switch. So this is something that I'm going to be obviously talking, not obviously, but this is something that I actually have on my agenda to be talking about, a bait and switch. There's multiple bait and switches. There's buyer bait and switch, seller bait and switch. This is honestly where the bad rap of, say, the bottom 90% of the industry comes from is that you put up photos of something beautiful, it's on Craigslist, or it's on LeaseBreak, or it's on one of these other websites, it's not on StreetEasy, it's not on the RLS. RLS is our listing service. And they put up these beautiful photos that you call them and they say, hey, listen, that actually got taken, but I have these other apartments. So that's the cons of potentially originally working with a broker. But if you like that broker, I always recommend going to Facebook, asking your friends, asking your colleagues, okay, who did you just bought an apartment, who did you like? Or people that are working in the building. We've done a bunch of deals. I'm probably going to list the 4th apartment this year in one of the buildings, and then maybe his other apartments, that would be 5 deals. No broker, let's just continue on. No broker pros, obviously no upfront costs of a broker fee. Better managed buildings. Sometimes if you go to, like I said before, say Hudson Yards, or you go out to Long Island City, you have these massive buildings that are on the water. They have their on-site leasing. Not only do you save on the broker fee, but you might have amenities and free months rent and limited security deposit and things like that. You're also in control. Okay, you're in control of the search, you're in control of making the appointments, of the time and things like that. You don't have to go through a intermediary. As long as you have the time, as long as you have the patience, highly recommend you do that. And then newer buildings with amenities, as I mentioned, is that you're really not going to get many no-fee downtown listings, because like I said, the smaller landlords bring on listing agents because they don't want to bring on a showing agent, pay that person a salary that's not going to do a good job. So they would rather bring on a good listing broker, and with a good listing broker, Tribeca, all the popular areas. But if you want to go, say, Midtown or Upper East Side, especially the Upper East Side, they have massive buildings on the Upper East Side, Long Island City, Hudson Yards, like I said before, is that if there's on-site leasing, you just walk in there, even along West End Avenue, they have a huge stretch of brand new, beautiful complexes, 4 or 5 story amenities. They had a woodworking shop. They had like a 3 or 4 star rating restaurant in one of them. Very expensive, really nice amenity for obviously all the people that live there. The cons, let's talk about that, of no broker is there's a lot of calling, there's a lot of emailing, there's a lot of people that say, actually I could show it at 5, actually the tenant called, they can't show it at 5, let's do 6, and then you're going back and forth, and then you start getting a little bit just overwhelmed. Not only overwhelmed, you just start mixing up apartments, and you say, which one is this? Who are you calling about? What about and apartments go quick. If you're not moving fast enough, sometimes that you put in an offer and you try and call someone's bluff. In other words, someone comes back to you, say a listing agent, and they say, actually we have potentially another applicant. If you come to this price, or if you apply now, then you're going to get the apartment. You try and call them on the bluff, and then you're wrong, and then it goes to someone else. I'm not saying that's always the case, but you always have to understand that there is a lot of time that goes up to, this is one of the things, just on a side note, a lot of people see the show $1 Million Listing and they're like, is that really what it's like? No, it's not. Okay, they show the beginning part of the deal and then the end of the deal. Okay, there's a lot that has happened in those 2 to 3 to 4 months in between. Okay, a lot of calls, a lot of appointments, a lot of disappointments, a lot of emotions, a lot of egos in New York City real estate. The cons of working with no broker, obviously not only continuing with that, is not seeing all the apartments available. This is something, this has happened a lot of times because, like I said, a lot of management companies don't want to be hit up with the $3 per listing per day. A lot of agents don't want to be hit with that StreetEasy $3 per day. So you might have to pay that fee for nicer apartments, like I said, in the nicer areas, downtown, Tribeca, Soho, West Village, Greenwich Village, and then generally higher rental costs, because if you go with someone, or if you go no broker, that management company has to have staff. They have to have a sales office, a leasing office, they have to have a leasing director, and that's not inexpensive, okay? Leasing director is probably $80,000 to $90,000. If you have a showing agent, probably $35,000 to $40,000. And if you have multiple buildings, and multiple people within that leasing office, that adds up. That's a few $100,000 that gets passed on to the tenant, obviously. So you might not be paying the broker fee, but in the long run, you're paying higher rent. So that was actually one of the things that I negotiated on all my broker fees. I said, listen, I'll give you the 12% or the 13%, whatever I negotiated, that's fine, but go to your landlord and get me $100 off or get me $200 off. And sure enough, one of my apartments, it was a duplex, I had a lot of fun in that, to say the least, is I think I got $150 or $200 off, and it was actually a lease break. And I just walked in, I said, you know, $200 over the course, I was there for 3 years, that's a nice amount of money, okay? And then when the lease renewal came up, I said, listen, you know, I've been a good tenant, I already made a video about that. So those are the broker cons, and working with a broker or not working with a broker, you know, the one thing I'm just gonna leave you with is Michael Dell in 2015, 2016 said that convenience and saving time is gonna be people's priority. So from 2005 to about 2015, it was all about saving money. I call that the Amazon effect. In other words, you want to get better pricing, better reviews, and things like that. And now we've gone to more of the customized phase. In other words, brokers have to customize their experience. They also have to replicate the exact same experience that they give to all of their clients. So it's not like they get better and they get worse. It's you all get the exact same experience. And Michael Dell said, listen, we've gone through the pricing phase, and I've actually witnessed that. And it's true. It's, you know, a lot of clients said, you know what, I'll pay you to actually get this done. I'll pay you because I don't want to do it. Especially going through a board package, going through the application, dealing with the board, the management company. A lot of people are actually using brokers again because, you know, and I'm not saying all brokers, okay? Let's be honest, in the last 6-7 years, way too many brokers got into the game that are just not doing any business. They're not good, and they got in for the wrong reasons. Okay, they saw the show. They thought it was easy. They don't give good customer experience. They have no idea what they're doing. The clients think they're getting a good price, but they're not. That's happened a lot. Where I'm on the listing side, and I'm like, I can't believe this broker is just. They suck at negotiating. They have no idea what they're doing. Their client is totally lost. So. We're going to move into a more professional environment, which is great because then you don't have to deal with all these knobs that are out there. So I hope that helped. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. Obviously, this is one of the hotter topics when it comes to New York City real estate, fee or no fee. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. Shoot me a direct message, charles@botenston.com. We're going to be going live. We're also going to be doing 1031 exchange next week. We're also going to be doing the market report next week. It's very interesting what I've seen. Magazine. We're also building out a section on the website called BPIU that's going to be dedicated to real estate agents. And then we have BPI Media, and BPI Media is going to be more along the lines of your social. It was an area that we've really wanted to conquer, which is the content or social and things like that. So if you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Have an amazing Thursday. Almost forgot.